Welcome back to another episode. Keith here.
This is Chris.
We missed last week. We're sorry about that.
Got a little too distracted watching the playoffs.
But it actually kind of worked out because now each team has a game done in the second round.
Yeah, and the round one is finished because last
Yeah.
week we still had it was halfway through the series. There wasn't a whole lot to really.
Yeah, definitely a lot of surprises last week.
Yeah,
You had Nashville sweeping.
Chicago, which everyone seemed really surprised about, like that the Predators won the series. A lot of the writers and everyone was like, "Oh, we thought Chicago would win." Like everyone predicted Chicago.
I'm not surprised that they won.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not surprised. I picked the Predators to win that series.
I'm more surprised that they swept them.
I thought Chicago's offense would steal them, a game or two.
Yeah.
At least. But Chicago's got too many issues. They really are a 1.5 line offensive team. Their defense isn't as good as it used to be. Their penalty kill's not that great. And they couldn't score on Pekka Rinne.
And now they're facing the Blues, who upset the Wild.
Yes, and that was also a surprise that the Blues won that in 5, I think it was, or was it 6?
6. I'm not 100%.
Yeah, now I can't remember. It's been too long. But, yeah, that was a surprise for me. I mean, Jake Allen won the series for the Blues.
Yeah, and if they're going to beat the Predators, he needs to win it again.
Yeah, which we saw in the first game last night. He kind of didn't necessarily do. I mean, he gave up 4.
The Vernon Fiddler game-winning goal was a little weak.
And the one right after the Kevin Fiala injury was pretty weak. It was just a shot from the point that just beat him.
Yeah, well, hopefully Kevin Fiala comes back healthier next year.
Yeah, that was a real rough play.
Yeah.
That was split-legged, crashed into the boards, and fractured his femur.
Boom, femur gone.
Yeah, that was that made me cringe watching. That was rough. But yeah, I was surprised that Minnesota went down so early and especially to a team like the Blues, who I didn't expect to.
I didn't think the Blues really even were meant to be a playoff team.
Yeah, they kind of snuck in there, but after trading away Shattenkirk, I was like, they don't really have. I mean, he was a big part of their offense from the defense. It was the power play specialist. And the offense of the Blues isn't really that deep either.
And I'm sure right now they're sitting there like, maybe we shouldn't have traded Shattenkirk.
Yeah, we actually made it.
We're at the same
second round. Yeah, I mean, that's all hindsight now. But yeah, I mean, at the time, that's what they did and what they probably, I guess, felt they had to do because they didn't want to lose him for nothing.
Yeah. And then out west, you had the Ducks sweeping. Not too surprised there.
No, the Ducks have dominated Calgary for years now. And
Edmonton seemed to have matured a lot earlier than I thought they were.
Yeah, they got contributions up and down that lineup from guys that usually don't chip in offensively.
Yeah, I don't want to say
Clefbaum and guys like that were stepping up big time.
They didn't dominate the Sharks because, I mean, you had Couture who could barely breathe.
Yeah, it hurt to breathe, he said.
And who was it with the torn ACL and MCL?
Jumbo Joe.
Jumbo Joe,
yeah. Torn ACL, torn MCL. You face those are the two of the top players on the team.
Yeah.
And they were really banged up. However, they did still, don't forget, won 7-0 in one of those games.
Yep.
So Edmonton, yeah, they look good and they made it and they're young and they're flashy, but don't forget they got their asses kicked that game.
Yeah. I think they do have a chance to beat the Ducks, but I think the Ducks' loss more comes with how long they had to wait between those games.
Yeah, I think that first game we saw where they lost last night, a little bit of rust. That's the thing, is you can't be a rusty team going up against Anaheim. Going up against Edmonton because they're so fast.
Yeah, like if it was Edmonton with that rest, they'd be probably better off because they're much younger.
Yeah. They can come out and get it going quicker.
Yeah.
With a team that's got a little more age to it, like Anaheim, not quite as easy of a task.
Yeah, I'm still rooting for the Ducks. They were one of my teams to make it to the Cup.
Yeah, I just don't think Edmonton, the experience factor of being in the playoffs leans more towards Anaheim's side. Edmonton's good. They're going to be in the playoffs a lot in the future.
Yeah, I think they won the game, so they have a lot of confidence, which is dangerous for a young team to have. But because if they can manage to rattle their confidence in the next game,
yeah, if you go down 2-0 to the Oilers, that's gonna play in their minds a lot, and this could be over quicker than anyone expected. But
yep,
I think the Ducks will rebound and they'll take game 2. I think eventually taking the series. The longer this series goes, more in favor of Anaheim, though.
Yeah.
We had the Ottawa Bruins series,
which is just a turd playing a turd.
Which, was not really all that exciting. But now we see Rangers play them now, and Rangers are now down 1-0 in the series, thanks to a very fluky goal. But
when you look at it, the Rangers had probably the easiest playoffs schedule looking at it as far as the top teams.
They got to face Montreal instead of Columbus, Penguins, Capitals, even
they
Toronto.
Met out that way.
They had an easier matchup with that, and now they're facing, the winner of Boston and Ottawa, which...
And Ottawa's still up 1-0.
Ottawa's still up 1-0, but I'm not really worried that much about it.
I mean, still at the same time, it's not really a good sign for the Rangers if one of the weaker playoff teams in hockey, you couldn't cleanly beat them. They beat you.
Yeah, well, the Rangers never cleanly or put distance between anyone in the playoffs. They always win by 1 goal.
Yeah.
And maybe 2 if they get an empty netter at the end.
Yeah. Then you had the Penguins beat the Blue Jackets pretty easily.
Yeah, 5 games.
I thought it would go a little bit more.
I thought it was going to go longer. I thought the Blue Jackets could pull the upset off, but what the Blue Jackets needed to do was to play their style. Their big bruising, throw their weight around, get, work hard and get blue-collar goals. They didn't, and they tried to play the Penguins' flashy, speed style game, and you can't do that to the Penguins. They're better at it, and they burned them.
Capitals, I think Toronto put up a much better fight than most people thought they would.
Yeah, I agree. Against a team like the Capitals, I didn't really expect the Leafs to really even take a lead in the series like they had at one point.
Yeah, and they managed to
force it to 6 games.
Yeah,
they forced it to 6 games.
Definitely scared the Capitals.
Yeah, I mean, Toronto, I think even they admitted themselves they still have some holes they need to patch up.
They knew that going into the playoffs. They're still super young.
Yeah, one of the main things they definitely need to do is get a more experienced, a real top line defenseman, which might mean they're going to have to ship out a guy like Nylander, which I've seen even talked about, rumors popping up that maybe they've considered looking to Marc-Edouard Vlasic from San Jose.
Shutdown defenseman.
Yeah, with a little bit of an upside to his thing. He has a little bit of offensive touch to his game, but an established number 1 pairing defenseman. Yeah, and they might have to offer up a Nylander or another younger guy in some kind of package. Which I think
would be good for a team like the Sharks because they have a lot of the young players mixed in there with the older guys.
But their younger players aren't really great.
I mean, you have Couture, who's going to be there for a while, so I still consider him young compared to, Jumbo Joe and Marlowe.
Yeah, compared to those 2 guys who probably, there's a good chance, might not even be there next season.
Yeah.
With the expansion draft, one of them could be gone, and the other one might just not re-sign.
Yep.
But a young, talented player is definitely something San Jose needs, and I'm sure they could sign even just another defenseman to fill in the void that Vlasic leads in free agency.
As it gets closer to free agency, I'm sure we'll talk more about that when we see who's available.
Yeah.
We'll get an idea of what teams are looking for.
Yeah, I think that's a fair bet. I
mean, you had so now we have the matchups going on. I mean, the Capitals, Penguins.
I'm praying that the Capitals win the series.
And they're down 1-0.
They're down 1-0, but the series is
watching that game, it was a lot of Capitals on top of them.
Yeah. And Pittsburgh still got injury problems.
They still have Fleury as their starting goaltender.
So, at any point, there could be an 8-goal game.
Yeah.
I think the Penguins-Capitals series, if I had to make my best guess, Caps in 7.
Okay. And it's definitely going to be those lower line players for the other teams. Like you got the Bonino, who scored the game winner tonight.
Yeah,
And then
or it's going to be a guy like Colin Wilson or something. Does he step up to get that?
Kennedy.
Justin Williams especially, too.
Yeah.
Justin Williams, Mr. Game 7, Mr. Clutch, playoff guy. He's hopefully will play a big role in this.
Yeah. Rangers, I'm still going with them.
Rangers, I'm going with Rangers in 6 over Ottawa. I know they lost game 1, but I think it's safe enough to say I think Rangers in 6.
Okay. I definitely think Rangers. I don't know how many games I'm going to go with. I'll probably stick with 6-2.
Yeah.
It's a safe bet. They're definitely going to come back, take that series from them.
Yeah. Then we go out west, Blues, Predators. I'm going with Predators in 5.
I'm thinking Predators may just take the whole thing again.
Yeah, I mean, watching the first 2 periods of that game last night, I definitely felt that way. The Predators were dominating it, but the Blues did show some fight back in the third, and they managed to rally and tie it before Vernon Fiddler scored the game winner. But I think they'll be able to squeak out one win, especially if you get a Jake Allen performance like he did in the first round one game.
That's true.
I think he can.
Pecorino is still on the other side.
Yeah, they could sneak out a win in that.
I'm still going to go they win it in 4.
Yeah, I'll go 5 still. I'm going to stick with that.
And then the Edmonton-Anaheim.
That's a tough choice. I think that's the hardest one if I had to take a guess on. I'm going to go with the Ducks in 6, though.
Okay. I chose the Ducks as my Stanley Cup team. As much as I think that Edmonton can take them out.
I think they could. I mean, it wouldn't be...
If I had a vote on the upset of this round, it will be that series.
Yeah. I mean, I could see Edmonton doing it. I wouldn't be like, oh my goodness, I can't believe that happened. I'd be like, well, Edmonton's kind of scary, but I really thought the Ducks had it. So I'll say Anaheim in 6, but I wouldn't be surprised.
I'll put Anaheim in 7. They take it that far.
Yeah. If it goes to 7, it's definitely advantage Anaheim.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen an update on if the X is out for a long time or not yet.
Yeah, I was in bed when that game started.
I mean, he's not a
night,
fast defenseman, so maybe whoever they have will be a little bit faster and maybe change it up a little bit.
Yeah, and that Anaheim defense is very, very deep.
Yeah.
And very skilled. I wouldn't be too worried. Any one of them can step up and play the extra minutes or, be very comfortable.
Okay. Well, I think that just about wraps us up for
this week.
We'll be back again next week, hopefully.
Hopefully maybe some of the series will be over.
Yeah, or we'll be watching maybe a finale while we're here.
Yeah, that could be true too.
Okay,
Have
stay
a good
tuned.
night.